The FDA traced a Salmonella outbreak back through 8 separate points of sale. 4 different brand names, 4 different labels. All 8 trails ended in the same place. One lot of moringa leaf powder from one supplier in Jodhpur, India. Nothing on those 4 labels told you they shared a supplier. Nothing on any label tells you that today either. Most people scooping green powder into a glass every morning have no idea how many countries are in that scoop. I went through federal outbreak records, FDA recall notices, and California's public database of chemical violation filings. Not blog posts, the actual filings, with case numbers and dates. Here's what surprised me. The worst records don't belong to the cheap ones. One is a warehouse clubhouse brand, and the biggest one sickened 131 people across 38 states. You've almost certainly seen its ads. So we're counting down 5 greens powders I'd put back, then 3 that actually publish something you can check. Let's get into it. Quick note first. Anything I say about a regulation or a filing is exactly that, and I'll name the document. Anything about whether I'd buy a tub is my own opinion. This is consumer education, not medical advice. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist, especially if you're pregnant or taking anything daily. Here's what makes this category different from anything else on a shelf. A greens powder isn't a food, it's a blend. 40 ingredients, 60. AG1 says 75. Everyone is bought from somebody, and most come from somewhere else. Go look at the back of the tub in your kitchen. You'll find the ingredients you won't find where a single one was grown. No federal rule makes anyone tell you. No rule makes a brand test the finished blend either. Supplements don't get FDA approval before sale. That's the FDA's own published position. So a company can buy moringa from a broker, mix it with 39 other things, and ship it. If that lot was contaminated, nobody finds out until people get sick. That's exactly what happened. Twice. 5 months apart. Number 5. Factor Form. Daily Greens. Superfood powder. The supplement line from Factor, the meal delivery company. Subscription only, so it never sits on a shelf where you could pick it up and read it. In May 2012, a group called Environmental Health Advocates filed a Proposition 65 notice against Factor 75 over lead in daily greens, AG number 2025-01573. Here's where I have to be careful and where most channels aren't. A 60-day notice means a private party filed a claim. It is not a finding. But this one didn't sit there. On December 3, 2025, it settled. The record lists the injunctive relief as reformulation and warnings, plus $24,000 in payments. Reformulation means the recipe changed. I went looking for a published lab result on this product. I couldn't find one. The next one has the certification most people would call the gold standard, and a lead judgment from a California courtroom. Number 4, AG1 from Athletic Greens. The one your podcast host drinks, NSF certified for sport. Batch testing. A certificate of analysis on request. All of that is real. AG1 is listed in NSF's public directory, and I checked the directory, not the box. Here's what almost nobody tells you. In 2015, the Environmental Research Center filed against Athletic Greens over lead. Alameda County Superior Court, docket RG 15791-200. A consent judgment was entered on January 7, 2016. The terms required a Proposition 65 warning label and $78,500 in payments. A G1 carries that lead warning today. So how does one product hold a lead warning and a sport certification at once? They measure different things. NSF Certified for Sport is built around banned substances and label accuracy. The NSF supplement standard allows up to 10 micrograms of lead per daily dose. California's warning trigger is half a microgram, a gap of 20 times. Certified and clean are not synonyms. The certificate never said they were. The company's position is that anything grown in soil carries trace heavy metals and that every batch gets tested. That's fair, and it's true. The next one got recalled, and the recall wasn't really about the brand at all. If this is already changing what you'll do next time you buy this stuff, drop a like. It helps more than you'd think. And if you want to run this check yourself on any bottle or box, I put the whole system in my label decoder. Links in the description. Number 3, Food to Live Organic Supergreens Powder Mix. Brooklyn Company. Big presence on Amazon, Walmart.com, Target, and eBay. Organic on the front. On November 12, 2025, Food to Live recalled it along with their organic moringa leaf powder. Both used a single lot of organic moringa from Valin Farm Direct in Jodhpur, India. Florida's Department of Health pulled a sample of that powder from a sick person's home. It tested positive, and sequencing matched the outbreak strain. Now read this part slowly. The FDA's notice says bulk quantities from that same lot went to other food manufacturers through Food to Live's wholesale division. So it didn't just go into 2 bags with their name on them. It went into other companies' products under other companies' names. Nobody has published a list of those. The next one was pulled from a national warehouse club, and the FDA didn't bother limiting it to lot codes. Number 2, Members Mark Supergreens, Sam's Club's own house brand. Bought in bulk by families being sensible with money, which is most of us. On October 31st, 2025, the FDA announced that all Members Mark Supergreens powder had been recalled. Not certain lots, all of it, regardless of lot code or best by date. Hold on to that. When a regulator can't tell you which tubs are safe, they recall everything. FDA collected samples. 2 closed, unopened containers tested positive for Salmonella Richmond, and both matched the outbreak strain. Closed containers. So it wasn't a dirty scoop in somebody's kitchen. It was in the product as sold. 11 people got sick across 7 states. 3 were hospitalized. Sam's Club stopped selling it and contacted customers directly. That's the right response and they deserve credit. But look at the traceback. Records from all 8 points of sale converged on one importer, one lot, one farm. The last one is different in kind. It's the largest, and it kept growing after everyone was told it was over. Number 1, Live It Up. Supergreens Original and Wild Berry. You've seen this brand. Heavy advertising, clean packaging, sold on its own site and on Amazon. On January 14th, 2026, the CDC posted a food safety alert. Superfoods Incorporated agreed to a recall and issued it the next day. Every lot beginning with the letter A, plus every stick pack. By January 20th, it went nationwide, including Puerto Rico, Guam, and buyers in the United Kingdom. Minnesota's Departments of Agriculture and Health tested an unopened tub, positive for the outbreak strain. On March 17, 2026, the investigation was declared complete. Then it reopened. May 27th, after 22 more illnesses in 4 more states. Final tally, July 22, 2026. 131 people infected across 38 states. 36 hospitalized. No deaths. Illnesses ran from August 2025 through June 2026. FDA's traceback found a shared manufacturer between Live It Up and a different brand's moringa capsules. 2 brands, 1 factory. Neither label mentioned the other. Now let me calm this down because the panic version of this story is wrong. Nobody died. Not one person. Most people who get Salmonella recover at home in about a week, and these were specific lots, all recalled and off the market. If your tub isn't on a recall list, this isn't about your tub. Live It Up recalled voluntarily in coordination with FDA and says customer safety is its highest priority. One more thing worth saying out loud. Live It Up also had a Proposition 65 lead notice filed in October 2024. It was withdrawn in January 2025. That claim didn't stick, and blurring it into the Salmonella story would be dishonest. That happens more than you'd think. Amazing Grass Greens Blend. Superfood got a lead notice in February 2024. Withdrawn that August. A Clean Simple Eats Greens notice, filed in March 2026, was withdrawn 6 days later. 6 days. A filing is not a finding, and anyone handing you a scary list without checking outcomes is selling you fear. So why does this keep hitting this category? Because these powders are concentrated. 1 scoop can represent several pounds of raw plant dried down. Whatever was in the soil comes along, and it gets concentrated too. Spirulina is worse. It's a bioaccumulator. It absorbs whatever is in the water it grows in. There's testing on this. In October 2025, results came out on 37 top sellers, spirulina and greens, bought from Amazon and major retailers. 10 greens powders came back over California's lead limit. Eurofins and Alchemist confirmed it across multiple lots. At 1.4 to 9.2 times over. 10 of those 12 carried no warning at all. I'll be straight about that testing. Sanotec commissioned it, and they're a Hawaiian spirulina farm competing with the imports they tested. That doesn't make the lab numbers wrong. It does mean you hold it differently than a neutral study. And they never published the brand names. All right, here are the 3 I'd actually buy, and they're not runners-up. If you want an outside body's name on it, Garden of Life Sport Organic Greens. It's NSF certified for sport. An independent organization audits the facility, checks the label against the contents, and screens for more than 280 banned substances. The honest drawback is the one I already gave you. That program isn't a heavy metal ceiling. It's also an expensive tub. If you want to read the actual paperwork, Legion Genesis. Legion publishes a current certificate of analysis and a LabDoor report right on the product page. You can open both without emailing anyone. That's rarer than it should be. The drawback is that LabDoor doesn't carry NSF's recognition with sports bodies. And here's my strange one. Green's Supergreens powder. It carries a Proposition 65 lead warning, and the company explains why in its own published FAQ. Their answer is that the powder has more greens in it than their tablets, so it crosses the threshold. I know how that sounds. A warning label is not a low number. If you're pregnant or buying for a child, that's a reason to ask your doctor, not to shrug. But a company printing the uncomfortable thing on the front is telling you something real. Silence tells you nothing. A lead notice filed against that product in September 2025 was withdrawn in March 2026. So here's the one rule, and it works on brands I've never mentioned. Count the ingredients on the back. Then ask one question. Who tested the finished blend and on what date? Not the ingredients. The blend in the tub. After it was mixed. A name and a document you can open is a real answer. The words third party, tested with no lab, no date, and no link is a slogan. Organic doesn't fix this. Organic rules control what a farmer may spray. That's the whole promise. It says nothing about lead in the soil and nothing about salmonella in an imported lot. Here's the part that gets me. After all this, FDA increased screening on moringa powder imported from India, which means it wasn't happening at that level before. In the European Union, supplements fall under maximum lead levels written into law. In the United States, there's no federal lead limit for a greens powder. The only number forcing anyone to print anything is a California warning threshold. That's why these labels can promise so much. They were built to fill a gap where numbers should be. So tonight, go look at yours. 3 questions. Does it name a lab? Does it give a date? Does it tell you where one ingredient came from? If all 3 answers are no, you're trusting a logo. Send this to whoever buys the supplements in your house. And if you don't want to memorize any of this, my label decoder has it all written down. There's a 1-page checklist you can screenshot. It's linked below, and everyone who gets it now gets every future update free. Want the same treatment on protein powder? The lawsuits there are about what's in the scoop, not where it came from. That one's next in your feed. Read the back. I'll see you in the next one.